suddenly hears the hot take about Gorgura and why she and Amelia Watson should absolutely get married. And that's gonna be the
Get the hell out of
beginning
here.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, this is a world that is unknown to me, so
The world of VTubers.
yeah, I've stayed away from the world of YouTubers because it's just too much.
There's a
I'm
couple. I
already bad
don't.
with names. I can't deal
I'm
with this.
not. Don't worry. I'm not in. I'm not in there all the way. But I'm kind of dipping my toes in there and being like, hey, yeah, I like that one. Hold on.
Well,
Dipping your
good for you,
toes in the
Comey. I am
VTuber
willing to
hole.
teach.
Oh god, I'm not willing to learn.
It just occurred to me that all the people I know who are like super into VTubers are former Olies. Like actually.
Oh
all my
no!
friends. Yeah.
Oh
I
god,
know a
it's
lot of
destiny.
VTubers, it's always- It's
Now it's time
It's,
for Kobe to get in there.
That college is a VTuber fan training.
Oh
ground.
god. No.
Comey's the outlier.
Comey, you may be like a sophomore or whatever, but
Yeah.
they got 2 more years to inculcate some serious VTuber
Oh god.
If you really
stuff
want
into
to.
your head.
As soon as you get that graduation certificate, it's set in stone.
Do you really want to get in there?
I
You need to
just-
start now.
I
You're like,
think
what the fuck? I love Pekoro now.
I think
Your
VTubers
diploma is your
would do a lot
membership
more
sum.
for me if like I just feel like they're like they don't move like real people, you know? Like I don't feel like they move like anime characters either.
The full. Oh, you mean the full 3D model ones?
Yeah, I feel like they're just sort of like
The full 3D model one, like Roboco, she moves like a person because she's just straight up tracking
there's
tracking an
some-
actual person.
They do like 3D streams where like they do that.
Oko.
In Bishojo, there's Zentreya, who is almost like half the time she's full 3D tracking, and she's also silent. So all the
There's also
fun-
when she decides to be a fucking gecko.
That's also true.
It
But
is
all the
hilarious.
fun comes from her, based off of basically chat donating to do sounds and clips and whatnot. Which
Gotcha.
is really funny, anyways.
And plus, she's mute, so she uses text to talk.
Which is very funny.
That's cute.
Yeah,
like
there's
Snuffy.
plenty of like actual 3D YouTubers.
I like Snuffy because she's just a fucking actual piece
That's
of
also
shit.
true.
An actual
um,
piece of shit. It's great.
Snuffy and to an extent, I think Vebe. Just their face tracking is so good that it looks real.
Oh yeah, Snuffy's new. Yeah,
So
Snuffy's
I would
3D
not
model
recommend
is
Snuffy to
fucking-
Comey.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not?
Like occasionally I'll see a clip online, I'm like, oh that was funny. But like I don't know.
There's-
I'd rather watch someone like Germa, you know?
Mm.
This is my brand new business proposal, taking into account the considerations Comey has raised about VTuber models not being realistic enough. I'm gonna launch the world's first
No.
Hmm,
IRL VTuber.
How do you propose
So
that?
a cosplay?
I'm curious.
I'm gonna set up a camera in front of my PC. I'm gonna aim it at my face. I'm not gonna dress up, but it's gonna be like VTubers but 3D because I'm a real person.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
That sounds amazing. What would you call this new business model?
3D tubers.
Ah,
3D tuber.
Yeah.
Yep, baby. I love it.
Oh, here's the new mount. I haven't seen it yet. It's
oh,
huge. Wow.
The lunar what? Yeah, of course it's 8 man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to teleport to Mordana. It's quite a good.
Oh yeah, they have
know
like a
what?
spiral up there, right?
You know what makes me the most upset about the fucking lunar whale?
Huh.
What's up?
Like a good 50% of the player base that are like, haha, look at the stupid whale, right? Have no idea where the hell it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
It-
mean?
it-
It's from Endwalker.
I'm gonna kill you.
Where does it come from originally? Is it a Final Fantasy IV thing?
It's a Final Fantasy IV thing. It's the thing they use to get from Earth to the moon.
Jesus! I just looked up in this area and my game lagged. There's so many people here.
It makes me so sad.
Look
that,
at
like,
all the money that Square Enix just made.
like yeah
Oh
exactly.
my
They
God.
made a lot off of that. People like literally people only buying it because like, oh, 8 man, yeah, and then everyone's like, haha, memes. And then the other 50% is like, yo, it's the lunar whale from Final Fantasy IV. And everyone's like, shut up, nerd. That's stupid.
It'd be like 2% of the player base.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. I'll kill you. I'll
relax.
kill you.
I got it
Ow.
because I wanted a memento to remember the 2021 Fanfest by. But now that it looks like potentially they might just not stop selling it, that would be kind of a bummer if that's the case.
I mean, that's what they that's what they did with the SDS Fenrir. Yeah, originally it was gonna it was gonna be like, oh yeah, FanFest, and then they were like, no, keep it, and they're like, all right, we're keeping it. Give us your money.
I should have bought the minions instead, maybe.
I'm gonna buy the minions because I like Rydia.
I thought about getting the whale mount, but I think it's too much for me to buy it reasonably. I'm like a little I'm a little pressed for cash right now, and I don't feel good about dropping like 4 months of sub on a mount that I don't particularly love.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the minions as soon as I get the chance to. It's just fucking. I like Rydia and I don't like Rosa. Might not buy that one. You like Rosa, you're trash.
They're gonna take away your FF4 fan card.
I'm not. You'd be surprised. I'm not a big Final Fantasy IV fan.
Whoa!
Oh no! Now the entire Final Fantasy IV fan base is just gonna come at me and be like, "You fucking FF7 fans, shut up!"
Oh my god! I have 900,000
The
viewers
entire-
in my chat right now.
The entire Final Fantasy IV fan base of 3 people are gonna show up at your door.
Yeah. You might be able to fight them off, actually.
You're gonna leave a flaming piece of shit in a bag on your
It's
doorstep.
4 people and one of them is Darius.
My man's pranking his own house. Can't believe it.
We'll get that stupid Final Fantasy IV hater, right, guys? Oh.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh no! Now they're throwing rocks at me. Ah, stop it!
Oh no!
No, I'm being stoned to death. Oh god, protect me, Oreo. I'm gonna use you as a shield.
Don't use Oreo as a shield.
Wouldn't block
Dog
very
is
much.
not very big.
He's
Yeah.
fine.
That's what I thought.
He's fine. He fights with me on a daily basis. He can take a beating. Ain't that right, bud? He just looks at me weakly. He's like, no. Oh boy. All right, guys. Well, we're episode 8
Yeah.
of the podcast.
Here we are.
How we feeling, guys? How's
is
the week
your
been?
Favorite 8th sequel of a game?
Favorite 8 sequel of the game?
I
Well, I'll
don't
tell
have
you
any
what's
clue
not
what
my
not-
favorite 8
there's-
sequel. Mario Party 8.
Absolutely based.
My friends are like, "Oh, Mario Party 8 was the last good Mario Party game." No, it was one of the first bad Mario Party games. it's okay. One of my friends was like, "Oh, that one's really good." It's just it's so ugly. It is visually so gross. They use like
It's from the Wii. What do you expect?
no, that's not what I mean. There's
We had
beautiful
good-looking games. What are you
beautiful
talking
Wii
about?
games. It is from a graphic design perspective. I cannot stand it. I need to hold on. I gotta show you a picture.
Oh my god! What the? I just googled Mario Party 8 and it showed me a picture of Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and Wario standing in front of what seems to be the city from Grand Theft Auto 4. It's so low poly.
I told you, it's awful.
Yeah, I was thinking this was a meme, but holy shit, that's ugly.
It's terrible. It looks gross. Here, let me post it. I'll put this on the stream too. Hold on. Give me a
Alright.
second.
Shop.
It looks
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
it
Oh,
looks
God.
like they're in GTA.
We start the podcast
This was
and
this was like a
immediately call me
launch
starts
title
going
for the
off.
Wii.
What is this?
I can't believe that Yoshi has to suck dick to pay for his coke addiction now. It's so sad.
Damn. I mean, he's
That's
good.
real
He's,
world.
No.
I mean,
Makes me think of.
he's probably good at it, but you know.
He's got
Look
that
at
tongue.
the. Oh God.
You got that.
Look at that.
The bang.
Wario's pimping him out for more coke money.
Oh, I gotta find the title screen. I want you to look at how many fonts there are in this one picture. Hold on, I gotta find an example of this. I can't find it.
I can just see the select character screen. Yeah,
Do you have a picture of it? I can't find one.
I'm just on Google. They're really small though.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I found the picture. All right, this is like the main screen for like where you select modes and stuff. Look at this.
That looks like trash.
Wait,
Jesus.
oh, it didn't go. Hold on. Desktop. And where is
You
it?
can see the fucking Mii's in the background.
Where is it? I can't find the picture. I just had it. There it
It's
is.
gone now.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Look
What
at
is-
how many fonts there are.
So we
That
have
doesn't look
like,
like Mario at all.
so we
Right?
have like, so we have the like,
Oops.
we have the fucking Final Fantasy fucking font at the very top left.
The Final
Then we
Fantasy font.
Then we have just a regular Arial fucking font for where would you like to play. And then it goes to fucking like, I don't know, like a Game Grumps font for fucking Party Tent and all the fucking
Yeah.
other modes. Like, what is this?
There's Japanese visual
Wha-
novel font at the bottom.
Why does like the bottom one where it says play a party board game? It looks like Windows like 95 like command line font.
Yeah, yeah. I hate to admit it, but you're right. Yeah.
I just think
I
like for a
Didn't realize that the mid 2000s like trend of making everybody realistic and gritty and dark and awful also infected Mario Party.
Damn, I can't believe it.
I just think it's just visually so not Mario, you know? Like for as much as like 9 and 10 are like
Mario.
bad Mario Party games, at least they look like Mario games, you know?
How many Mario Party games
And
are
not
there?
like Gary's mod like spin-offs.
Gary's Mod RP, the new mode in hit new game Mario Party 18.
Yeah, exactly.
No, okay, how many are there? Like,
How many are there? Like main
Yeah.
series?
yeah, main series. There's fucking side series for Mario
There's-
Party.
Yeah.
There's like DS games.
There's like Island Tour and like Top 100 and other ones like that.
Why would you make a spin-off of a spin-off?
True. I mean, it's a very popular spin-off. Mainline Mario Party, if you count Super Mario Party as the sequel to Mario Party 10, there's 11 of them.
Okay,
Sequel
okay.
to Mario Party 10. The long-awaited sequel of Mario Party 10. Find out the story. Did Mario
they-
actually win
They,
that
they go the
minigame?
FF10 approach, and they're like, Mario Party 10 2.
Mario Party 10 too.
Did Luigi actually save Mario during that minigame, or did he just let him die?
I can't wait to play Mario Party 10 2 remastered on my PlayStation 9 in
Yes.
several years.
My PlayStation Switch.
Or your Xbox Series X1.
God.
No, the Xbox Series
consoles-
X2.
Oh, God. If consoles do continue into the future, in which they kind of seem like they're going on a steady decline in other countries besides just America, like I'm almost like waiting with bated breath to see how like bad the Xbox names get over time. Because PlayStation, they have it made. It's just PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the portable, or the Vita, right? It's easy. And then you look at Xbox, and they're like Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. And it's like, can just fucking. Why are you doing this?
My personal hope for the next versions of Xbox is for it to be a software where you can either install it onto a
Install on your
PC.
PC.
Or, yeah, you can install it onto your
I think
PC.
that's
It's
what
kinda
Game
they had
Pass
the
is, right?
Steam
So what you're saying is you want Xbox One Series X Gold Platinum Xbox Store Edition.
Oh,
But yeah, like they had Steam machines a while back where like they allowed you to basically build
Talking about the fuck-
machines to run Steam hardware off of.
You
like,
talking
their
about the fucking
Steam-
Ouya?
No. Steam
No,
machines.
that's different.
Yeah, the
Give me one sec,
Ouya
guys, I'll be
was
back.
Android specific.
What was that one? What was that one console that like when it was?
The
Fuck.
Soldier Boy console.
No, not that one.
Okay.
That one wasn't even a console. That was a scam.
Well, what do you guys think about
But he
the
also
announcement?
he also fucking missed. He missed the fucking opportunity to call it the Soldier Boy. Like, fucking asshole. Now he's in jail where he fucking belongs.
What do you guys think about the announcement? that's going to be made this weekend at FanFest that Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker is going to be coming exclusively to the Soldier Boy console.
Damn, I can't believe
I'll
they
buy
do
it.
something so controversial.
I'll go to the scalpers on eBay. It's better than buying a PS5.
Yo, he's fucking shots fired. Shots fired at the scalpers who are still making shit ton of money off of idiots that are still buying their fucking things on eBay.
Because they're still out of stock.
They're probably not going to be back in this. Okay, I was looking at an article the other day, and they said they're probably going to have a shortage until 2022.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because I'm like, how the fuck do you expect me to play Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade? You motherfuckers.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I built my little sister a PC over this last year because she needed one for her art stuff and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't buy the graphics cards; they're going to be out of stock for like forever too.
Yeah, we're having a microchip shortage or something like that.
Silicon, yeah.
I hate this. Take me back to simpler times when I could just go to the store and look at the fucking PlayStations and be like, I'll get one of those one day.
Instead of worrying about what kind of silicon it's got in it.
Mm-hmm. It has this special silicone that we can't make because we can't be near each other. Yeah, man.
It has asbestos in it.
Oh no.
PlayStation 5 Asbestos Edition.
Yo, it has asbestos, but it runs every single game at 120, no matter
That
I would willingly put asbestos in my house if the PS5 did that.
You put like a dome over your PlayStation to make sure it doesn't infect the rest of your house.
In order to activate the controller, you have to wear one of those like PlayStation headsets, but also it has a lung, kind of like one of those masks.
It's like an
like a nasal cannula, and it pumps asbestos into your lungs constantly while you use it. But it runs every game at 120 FPS.
Like, yo, I'm doing so well on Fortnite today.
Look at these polygons! Holy shit!
Oh, the ambulance! I made a mistake.
I made
back.
a mistake in not getting the real one. I've got to spread this joy with the world.
It's like for fucking I think it was either Bloodborne or Code Vein. They had a promotion thing going on where it was like, hey, if you give blood, we'll give you a copy of the game.
Oh, it was Code Vein, yeah.
It was Code Vein? Alright, yes. Fucking someone recommended, they were like, yo, they should have a fucking like they should just have like a challenge mode. You're basically every time you die you lose blood.
Like somebody's draining blood from you in real life every time you die.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Every single time you die, you just get more blood gets taken away from you.
That's terrifying.
Check out these next generation graphics. They say dumping an actual bucket of human blood on you. You slaughtered the zombie number.
No, that'd be fucking. That would be fucking Doom. That would be fucking either Doom or Doom Eternal. Fucking just like every time you get a glory kill, just fucking a bucket flies at you.
Drop pig guts on you.
You're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Rip it, tear. Oh god, it's so much. Oh, it's in my eyes.
Jesus.
IGM would give it an 8 out of 10. Too much blood.
Too much blood. Not enough water. Fucking goddamn fucking IGM. I'm still like I know it's a meme still. I know it's still a meme to talk about, but still IGM when they're fucking like, I don't know, Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby, they weren't too great because all the water. Yeah, man.
What? Huh?
You didn't hear about that?
I know a lot about IGN, but I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, they had a review come out for Sapphire and Ruby when they came out, and they said there was too much water.
Listen, I'll say it. That's a legitimate criticism of that game.
You shut your mouth. That is not legitimate.
Like, a lot of their
It's a little
reviews
legitimate.
hold ground
Get your
until
ass up.
something weird.
You got a problem with water now?
in their review?
All right, I do think the probably my favorite review mistake for them is when they did their Xenoblade Chronicles definitive review and they managed to pronounce like half of the main cast names wrong despite the game being fully voiced in English.
Oh no!
That'll
Yeah.
always
Very bad.
that'll
They-
always
they
be
called-
a bad issue.
They called Ryan Rain for the entire review. His name is
Oh, no.
Reyn. They said Rain, and he's like the second character you meet and is a main character for the entire story.
I mean, that's IGN follows that the actual reviewer doesn't make the video. That's the thing.
I'm thinking
the
maybe someone
problem-
else wrote it, and then someone else,
Yeah.
like the person who wrote it's not the person who narrated it, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Well, that would
reviewer
explain it
does the
then.
review, and then they have like an actual camera talent do the video for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not that
Man,
that's
what an easy job that must be.
Yeah, someone
gonna
writes
go
the review
put
for
in
you,
my
and
resume for Kotaku.com to be their video games reviews reader.
then... Yeah, you don't even have to write them. You just read them.
Exactly. I just read them out loud.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
I think it'll.
Okay.
As like an
That's-
on-screen presence type thing. That's
I
a
think-
genre.
I mean, I guess you need the charisma and stuff.
It's a genre of video content that is dying, I believe. Having the on-screen talent.
Hmm.
I think it'll always be an issue in video games and any game, pretty much every form of media where they go through to talk about a game, even though it is fully voiced in English, and they will continue to mispronounce the characters' names.
That's my biggest thing is hearing people talk about Naruto. I cannot understand how people still misunderstand that.
Oh.
They spend their whole life watching the show in English, and they still
one-
say Naruto.
The ones that kill me are the people who say Sasuke.
Sasuke.
I legit have an aneurysm every time. I'm like, I don't even
See,
like
the
Naruto,
only
but I hate you
reason-
people.
The only reason I did that is because I read the manga and I didn't watch it. I said Sasuke and Akatsuki.
You have an excuse then.
Yeah, because I read it and I didn't
Yeah.
know Japanese, but now I do, or at least the similar conventions.
I still have the issue where I'm talking to someone about Final Fantasy. They're like, "Yo, Titus is my favorite character," and it's like, "You son of a bitch."
Hey, I mean, they don't actually pronounce his name out loud in the
In
original game.
In 10, they don't do it. However,
Is it not Titus?
it's Titus.
Titus?
It's interesting because
Yeah,
the thing about
thanks.
Final Fantasy X is you could still name him
Yeah.
whatever you wanted, and they
Yeah,
deliberately wrote around the script so that nobody ever says his name. So
Really?
You can name him whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every
So
other character fucking
their name
has
gets
their
said
name.
out loud, but nobody ever says Titus's name. So to preserve the fact
Titus.
that you can name the main character whatever you want.
Does that
That's pretty
work
standard for
to
first-person
the
RPGs.
detriment of the narrative?
I never noticed it when I
Huh.
was
Okay.
playing it initially, so I would say no personally.
It's like it has nothing to do with the narrative. Like, there's no actual like explanation as to why they never say his name or anything like that.
I
Like,
mean,
it's just
I
straight up, like,
figured.
you
I was
call him-
just,
you know him.
I was wondering if the fact that the characters won't address the main character by name might cause like issues in making your characters seem like connected to one another. You know?
Well, I was
You
gonna
got
say, I
you got
assume
Walker who
in-
just walks up. Hey, brother.
I assume in Denki Rangi they probably never say your main character's name.
Danganronpa?
Yeah, I would assume.
No,
they don't.
actually, the main character has a voice and a presence in basically the whole story, and they say their name.
Yeah, but
He's a
okay, okay.
person.
'Cause
Yeah.
In P5 and a lot of other RPGs like that, they don't.
They just call you.
Oh,
they call you by your moniker.
Right.
Or they'll just cut it out.
No,
Hey,
yeah.
Joker.
Danganronpa actually, especially as you, well, it's less so in the first one, but in the second one, and I assume probably the third one, I haven't finished it yet. They
Hello
actually
there,
do a
Neil
lot
Diamond.
to characterize the protagonist.
How are you doing
so
today,
it's interesting.
Steve?
I should clarify that they do characterize Titus a lot in Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
He's fully voice acted. He
Oh, yeah.
talks. He's his own character. It's just that nobody else ever says his name.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's like the weirdest thing for me because like there are no actual like random split choices or anything like that where like it's like because you can choose which way you go to do this, right? There's never any of that. Like literally it's like FF10 is more cinematic than anything like that, so you go through like a pretty much a hallway. It's a guided experience. And like there's no actual like, oh, what will you do? And then it asks you a question like, I will stab Seymour in the face or I will kick him in the face. None of that, right? It's always just like, oh no, a thing is happening. Everyone talks about it and T's joins and he's like, yeah, that's crazy. Oh, look at that.
Titus has no choice but to gallivant about with his friends Waka and Yenna.
Oh my.
Yana.
Or Reku. Or you can't even mess up Lulu, damn.
Lulu.
Lulu.
Lele.
Lila. Luau.
Wow.
Nice.
That's a donkey name right there.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
god.
it really is.
The belt wearing Luau.
Luau
And her good friends, the Albed Ricky.
Ricky.
God. Ricky. David.
It's a Xenoblade
Here
character.
we have the entire cast of Final Fantasy X, and also including XX Game Master XXHD. Yo, XX Game Master XXHD is my favorite character for Final Fantasy X.
The emotion when XX Game Master XD_666 meets up with Yuna at the end when you get the true ending is just that's the top 10 gaming moments
the
for
kiss
me.
scene between XX Game Master XXHD69 is the best.
Damn, that's
I
really a
love
bold move to title a character like that.
It's to help you feel more inclined to feel the same things he's feeling.
Oh, okay.
This is dragging out from the dregs of my memory that My Immortal comic or story. Oh, you guys don't know.
I don't think
know.
so.
This is a Tumblr thing. All right. Oops.
Tumblr. I only went there for art.
I
For
don't
art?
remember the main character's name.
Yeah?
Art.
Of Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
Okay.
art. Yeah, art.
I'm surprised you guys
for me to
don't
go
know
there besides art.
My Immortal though.
I mean, I know my
Oh.
Immortal.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I don't know. My Immortal is that a band?
It's
No,
a really
it's the
awful
fanfiction.
Harry Potter fanfiction.
It is a Harry Potter fan fiction with a self-insert.
Oh wait, is that the one with the gun?
With the
I don't
gun.
No. This one's famous for its self-insert being so extremely egregiously, like overpowered that
Oh, so
like it became
everyone's
famous on
insert,
the internet.
everyone's insert fucking OC fanfiction thing for anything
Yeah,
else.
like-
Also, everybody's an emo.
Oh,
That's
no.
true. I like one of the lines of the comic is like the main character is being approached by Harry Potter, who's like hunched over and he's got like his hair over his eyes, and she's like, "No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Draco instead." He also has his hair over his eyes, but he's blonde.
Yeah, I was never into Harry Potter, so I don't know anything about this.
Oh, you shouldn't have been into this either. That's they are exclusive.
I don't know, man. I'm not into Ruby, but I found a pretty good fucking Ruby fanfiction that I'm in love with because of how
Ruby is
How sexy it is.
Ruby is a really funny franchise to me because it's like a franchise that seems like it's driven more off of its fan content than its canon content.
Oh, absolutely.
because the canon content's all trash.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
God.
Is that like everyone loves the characters in the world, but like no one likes the actual plot.
No, yeah, the actual plot's dumb.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Like Ruby is like a franchise that was like literally when Monty Ohm was still alive for the first 3 volumes.
Uh-huh.
He was literally he was just like I want to make a cool show where I do cool fight animations and show off cool weapons, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, shit, go for it, right? And everyone was like, oh shit, this is cool. Story's all right. Oh man, it's cool looking.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry, I have to make one amendment to your statement.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to make a show where he could make really, really cool action sequences and fight scenes with girls in skirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was that is also something. He said.
That is
They even make a joke about it, and they even make a joke about it in the first volume because Weiss and Ruby, the two of the main characters, are wearing skirts, and like someone's talking shit, and they're like, actually, they're battle skirts, and they high five and like fucking cross their arms, and stand back to back, and it's like, yeah, man, we get it. Calm down.
Yeah.
That sounds cringe as hell, but also
It's great.
It's very good.
It's
Like,
great.
Especially the
I
first
think,
couple
I think
seasons.
it's.
You-
I'd
you
imagine
can-
it's
the
part
first-
of the charm.
The first 3
Yeah.
volumes of Ruby are great. The other volumes are. They vary, but they're also stupid. Like, one of the big things about Ruby, right, is that like the main characters like, oh, we want to be huntresses and huntsmen, right? And they're the huntresses and huntsmen are like the people that go out there and they protect people from the Grim or whatever issue might pop up. The Grim are just
Mercenaries.
yeah, they're mercenaries that go around protecting people. They're like cops, except they're not dumb, right? Like the biggest thing is that like, oh, everyone's striving to be this, right? and like everyone's in like there's because there are so many characters, they can't actually like sit down and actually have a moment where characters are like trying to figure out their weaknesses and trying to prove upon themselves, like you have with other animes. They're like shonen and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? But like but that's the issue. There's so many characters they can't do that. So like you'll have a scene where like this character is doing something like, damn, that's crazy, and then someone comes in and kicks their ass, and it's like, I guess they're just stronger than them, huh?
Yeah.
And so like you have another scene where like that character's then fighting off. You have another scene later on where that character's then fighting off against that character, and they're fine. So there's like no actual like showing of the characters getting stronger or better at what they do or whatever, anything like that. It's kind of just static most of the time, right?
All of the character development is emotional to character development.
Yes.
Which is not utilized well because it's an amateur studio.
Mm-hmm. But like the other big thing that pisses me off the most, right, is the fact that when they do show off the actual huntsmen, like out there going out, like out there doing stuff, right? They're always jobbers. They're always the hardest jobbers you'll ever see do anything in anything, and they always get rocked. And then the main characters come up and they're actually doing all the cool stuff, and it's like, what? It's like you're not setting a good power level or even like setting up a good standard of what exactly this thing they're trying to be is. Because you'll have some characters that are like out there, that are huntsmen, that are doing cool things, right?
Yeah.
But because they want you to focus on the actual main characters, they then like the next scene later or like another season, that character is just the most useless piece of shit you'll ever see. Like Yang and Ruby's uncle, right? Crow. They set him up like immediately after he was shown off. They're like, he's drunk. All right, cool. He has emotional issues. All right, whatever, right? And then him and Weiss's sister have like this knockdown, drag out fight in the middle of the campus, and it's really cool looking. And it's one of the coolest fucking fights, right? But then later on, Crow becomes the most useless piece of shit. He's like the most useless piece of shit in the entire show. And now his only motivation right now is like, his only motivation. Spoilers for anyone who might actually be trying to look at Ruby, is like, I have to go kill Ironwood because he told this guy to stop me, and I was friends with that guy, and now that guy is dead because I decided to have a 2v1 against that guy with the bad guy that I was trying to take down.
So they've sort of lost sight of their vision for the characters.
They have no vision for the characters. That's the problem.
I see.
Their power level and their abilities and all that all plays secondary to the narrative they're trying to create, which is really sad because then like there's no consistent flow to their character or their powers at all. Like the biggest thing for me is they have this thing called aura, and when the aura falls out, or when you run out of aura, which is what you use for your powers and stuff, it like shimmers around you like electricity or whatever, and you can see it's going away. They just kind of throw in that effect everywhere when they want to show that the character's dying. And then, like, for the next 20 minutes, they keep fighting and keep getting hit and keep using their aura, and it's really just not really confusing.
like the aura thing is so bad because like you'll have scenes where like characters that like beforehand were doing amazing, all of a sudden they get hit once with something and their aura is gone.
Yeah,
and it's like, didn't they just go toe to toe with like the big bad like 5 minutes like a season or so ago? And it's like, no, shut up though. We have to do the big thing to show they're gonna die, or just get really hurt. And it's like, this is you suck at this.
In conclusion, the world of the show and the power system are super cool. Like all the character designs and the weapon designs and all that. But the person who actually had an idea of how they wanted things to go is not here anymore, sadly. And Monty Ohm is a treasure, but he is gone now. I want to say the person who would have been the second best at utilizing that would have been Miles, but he left the company. No, yeah.
Sounds like they had some staff changes.
They've had a lot of staff changes.
Not super horrible. I wouldn't say the staff changes are the worst, but
like it's so bad because like they'll have they'll have like an entire season of like just characters talking, and then like when they finally get to the cool fight scenes that are supposed to happen, they're not great. Like the choreography is all over the place, and characters that are like have established they can use certain powers, like or like fight a certain way, just don't fight that way at all. The biggest offender of it is like the biggest offender is Blake. Her entire semblance, which is her like special power that everyone has, is that like she can create like after images of herself and use those in different ways. Dust. The dust they use in the series, which is like where they get all the like the fire, ice, and stuff like that from, because they can't like actually use magic except for certain people. They use dust to use all their fire, magic, and stuff like that. Like she can, in combination with her after images and shadows, she can make like random dust clones of herself.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Like something like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, like when he like backs away and like you see like the ice clone and he picks it up and throws it at you.
I'm not familiar, but I believe you.
Okay, like he did it's something like that, but like she can do that, and like her fighting style it consists of like she has a ribbon attached to her main weapon. Her main weapon is like a small it's like a small katana with like a clock at the bottom of it. And she can get
so cool.
Yeah, like she can shift the blade around and like proceed to use like the recoil off the shot to send to send this sword flying at you, and she grabs the ribbon and she'll spin it around, doing all kinds of different things like that, right?
Yeah.
They have not used that since the 3rd season.
Correction.
And when they do, it is not any. It's just for combination attacks, which she does with her friend Yang.
Yeah, they used it in this last season, literally just to push an emotional death.
Yeah, and it was so dumb because they. Oh God, I don't even. Shut up. Yeah.
So why are you still watching it? What motivates you to watch it?
Because I'm a purveyor of trash.
I see.
Every
by in like one of those covered wagons with all his wares, like a merchant. Except it's not a wagon; it's a dumpster on wheels. It's like, check out my finest wares for you. Ah.
I think
I got this fish bone here. It says Ruby on the front.
I think like the thing that has me the most upset about Ruby right now is the complete and total character assassination of one of my favorite characters of the series. James Ironwood. They didn't know what to do with that character, because when they set him up initially, he shows up and he's a controller over like an entire country's military, right?
Yeah.
And like when he shows up, he's kind of showing off all his military, like, haha, look at my military. The bad guys won't try to do anything like that. And like someone like basically is just like, Ironwood, dude, bringing your military here kind of shows off we have something to hide. You don't want to do that. And he's like, I'm just trying to show him to piss off. And he's like, okay, we get it, we understand, your heart's in the right place, but you can't do that. And he's like, all right, well, I messed up then. Okay, fine, whatever, right? But like when he's talking to the other characters, like some people were like, it's Ironwood, right? And then like when they meet up with him, like he's like, I understand you don't like me, but I'm super happy to see you, right?
Sure.
Like he's all around good guy when he first shows up, and then like some stuff happens in the 3rd season, and like he's like fighting off some Grim, and like Crow, Ruby and Yang's uncle shows up, and he's like, listen, this had nothing to do with me. I'm not sure how they hacked into my stuff, but they did, and I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I have no idea what the hell's going on. All my military is like out of control right now, right?
Yeah.
And so like Crow, like it looks like Crow's dashing at him to kind of take him out, and just to prove his innocence, he's like, all right, fine. He drops his guns and he holds his hands up and he's like, go ahead, hit me if you want to, right? Like he just presents himself from then on out, every other time he's shown off, he's doing something incredibly nice for the other characters, right?
Yeah.
Like Yang loses an arm, like not even axed or anything like that. He sends her a new robotic arm to replace the arm she lost. Like no one asked him to do anything. He did it out of the kindness of his heart.
Very cool.
And then like Weiss goes back to her family. She doesn't want to be there. her dad's an asshole, and like the people that she's surrounded by at the time are a bunch of rich bourgeoisie assholes that are like, oh, fucking the shit that happened over there at that fucking school sucks, and they're all stupid, haha, right? And she kind of gets really irritated and has an emotional outburst, and her powers go out of control, and she sends a summon at someone on accident.
Whoops.
He takes out the summon, right? And everyone's like, well, you need to arrest her. She's stupid. She's bad. She's gonna hurt somebody, right? And Ironwood's like, honestly, to me, it sounds like she's the only one speaking some sense around here, right?
Yeah.
He's like, the rest of you guys are kind of assholes, and it's like, good. He knows what's up, right?
Yeah.
And then the next time he showed off, it's like in his country, and like he welcomes everyone with open arms. He's like, good, you're all here. We'll train you up. We'll get you new weapons. We'll get you some new clothes and stuff like that. Feed you guys, give you your licenses and everything like that. Yeah. Do everything I possibly can to help you guys out. And they proceed to just hide things from him. They take the secrets that he gives them, and they just proceed to throw it out there because fuck him, he's stupid. We can't trust this guy, right? The guy who has done nothing but try to help you guys out this entire time and done nice things, but you guys are just like, no, we can't trust him with the truth that we found out. Fuck that guy, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird plot point.
And then, like, right after that, shit hits the fan, and like he's like, all right, well, the big bad is here. We can't. We don't actually have like the firepower to fight her off, like at this very moment. So right now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have to make a really, really heavy decision, and we're gonna take this part of the kingdom and send it up in the sky where she can't reach us. And they're like, well, what about
save a certain amount of people?
Yeah,
the rich people.
Yeah, but they're like, well, what about the people down there? And he's like, I can't get them up here. I have to do this right now. If not, we're screwed, right? And they're like, no, that's stupid. And then they have a big fight scene with the people that train the main characters, and they all they all bounce out and take their stuff, right? And then like right after that, they're like, all right, what should we do with Ironwood? All right, because people were still super on his side now, right?
Yeah.
What should we do? We should make him a crazy just make him a crazy cartoon villain. He just blows away a random like innocent person for no reason.
Yeah, they did just like as soon as he made that decision to save only a certain amount of people, every decision of his just kind of got worse and worse and made less and less sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most recent decision of the final season was he was saying, "Hey, the big bad guy's gone, but I still have the bomb that I was going to blow up the big bad guy with. So, if you girls, the main girls, don't do this specific thing for me that I decide is right, I'm going to murder all the people that the big bad guy was going to murder with my bomb."
And you just
What?
look in the screen.
Nothing about Ruby, but that makes me want to watch it because
that's
hilarious.
Like I looked at this. Like when he said it, I was like, I'm just gonna blow up all of this area. I'm like, what would be the what? Why? What the fuck is the point?
Is he just like? Is it like something about his character where he's like really?
No.
He wants to, I don't know, blow things up.
So here's the issue, right? Like I said, every character has semblances, right? They're special powers.
Mm-hmm.
Some characters have like random hidden passive powers. Like Crow, his special semblance power is that he has inherent super bad luck, and it will spread out like an AoE. So everyone around him can also be affected, and usually it's like a super detrimental bad thing that'll happen, right?
It's a Danganronpa ability.
Yeah, like and so like that's his passive. It's not something he can interact with. It's something he can't even really control. He just kind of it just kind of happens around him. All right.
Okay.
So, and this is not okay. This is something that was explained in the series. Like when they were actually talking about how character semblances work and whatnot, blah blah blah. This right. For Ironwood, they decided that they weren't going to explain this in the show. You had to go looking for this one. You had to watch their stupid podcast that no one wants to watch because it's all stupid bullshit of them being cringe. they were like, okay, well, Ironwood's passive is something called metal, right?
Metal.
And what metal and what Ironwood's metal does, what metal does for Ironwood is that if he has a certain goal that he wants done, right? It will basically make him laser focused upon that one thing, and any decision that he makes will automatically be in his head, going through it, gonna do it. All right, here we go, right? No matter
let's just take a mental illness and make it a semblance.
Yeah, that just
exactly. That's exactly what it is. And like that was their explanation as to why Ironwood is doing some of the crazy, just cartoon villain bullshit that he's doing right now.
Okay, I feel like probably would have just been better to be like he is mentally ill and not like he has a magical power that makes him mentally ill.
I think honestly, it's probably more along the lines of what you just said. It's like a mental illness thing, and that's why it was never really in the show, and it was said in a podcast. It's not necessary. It's not necessarily for the story derivative, and people heard that and like clung to it super hard because I mean it's weird, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I think people clinging to that is more unnecessary, but yeah.
No, but see, like that's that was their explanation as to why he's just crazy now. He's just and like he's like doing things that are so over the top evil and stupid just because they want him to look like a bad guy.
That's also very true, yeah.
Like literally when he makes the decision and like all the main characters turn on him. Like when I was watching him sitting there, like honestly, the main characters kind of have it coming because they want to show the main characters as they're the good ones that know what's going on. They're a bunch of teenagers. The oldest character out of the group is 19, and so they're somehow letting these young kids who have not even really seen the big bad make big like entire life decisions on like life or death decisions on like stuff they haven't even seen yet, like Yang, Ruby's sister, like she goes on like an entire tirade going off on her mom, who's like, I'm not trying to fight Salem the big bad. I've seen what she can do. It's fucked up. We can't kill her. She's immortal. I'm backing out. I don't want anything to do with that, right? And then Yang's like, well, you're a coward. And it's like, you haven't even seen her, nor do you know what the hell she can do, but you have the nerve to call someone else a coward.
There are plenty of good shows that make use of like an underdog and like a student has a better understanding of the world than the adults. This just isn't one of them.
No, they don't understand anything. Like they really, really don't. And they're given full range to be like, all right, well, we're gonna go do this and this and this, and we're gonna win the day and everything like that, right? And it's just like and like the problem with it is that like most of the seasons up till now, it's been like, all right, we're gonna make this decision. That sounds really stupid. No, it'll work out, and it works out because the main characters, right?
Now, as interesting as it is to hear Zarius's in-depth thoughts about Ruby, which it seems like is a very complicated show that has a lot of things going on in it that are definitely worth talking about. We are 53 minutes into the Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, we did.
You got a real good point there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
We expected this would happen with Final Fantasy 7, not you.
It'll
Actually,
happen.
I think this is the second time because I was like half a guest once before, and I think we ended up talking about Ruby then too.
Really?
I think we were talking about. I think we were talking about our weeks. I don't know.
Were we?
I don't remember.
I'll go back and watch the episode when it does.
We have definitely talked about Ruby more than twice.
We should talk about FF14.
Yes. You know what today
Fanfest is tonight.
Everybody go at
Fanfest
once.
is tonight. Segue.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's my first
I'm also
Fanfest.
excited.
That's besides the it's my first Fanfest. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to see what they announce.
I can't wait for all the Hammer fanboys to be super upset about the fact they're not getting a Hammer.
I really, really hope we get the job action trailer tonight. That's probably the number one thing I'm looking forward to.
If it doesn't happen tonight, it'll happen on a live letter that'll happen sometime like
Yeah.
a month or so before the game, before
Yeah,
the
'cause
expansion comes out.
That's what I've heard, is somebody saying that it's way too early for the job action trailer to be
I
shown
mean,
off,
I think
so,
I
yeah.
feel like it is
we'll
too
see.
early.
We'll see.
Well,
I'm
so-
pretty sure that they want to keep on garnering the hype throughout the months until it finally comes
For
out.
sure. Yeah.
yeah. The thing about their schedule is that ordinarily, if COVID
We'd
hadn't
already
happened,
have-
and if
we'd already
everything
have the
had been on
expansion right now.
schedule, yeah, we would be getting the expansion like, I think Shadowbringers launched on June 1st or something like that.
Yeah.
So we would be 2 weeks away from it, and FanFest would be going on, and
Gotcha.
we would be getting the trailer a lot closer. But now, since they've delayed it until some day in the fall that we don't know what it is, I don't think they're going to give us the job actions trailer yet. But they might. I could be very wrong about that.
Yeah,
They got to
it
build
is very
hype
true.
somehow.
We are at least going to get the melee job, I assume.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna
That's
have
my
a site.
biggest- Yeah, we think it's going to be Scythe. God, I'm
I'm
too
pretty
I know.
confident it's gonna be safe.
I'm like 99% sure it's gonna be a scythe due to something.
It would be like the greatest bait and
things
switch
I've
in the
seen.
world
Yeah.
if it were not a scythe.
If it's a hammer, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Venos
is
shows
dumb.
up. He's like, check it out, warrior of light. I've replaced the swords in my revolver sword holster with hammers. Watch out.
And it's not even like a big like fantasy hammer. It's just like a regular like tool
It's
hammer
a
you
Home
have in
Depot
your.
hammer as the Home
Yeah.
Depot commercial theme starts playing.
And like every time you clash with him in the trailer, you hear like clink.
You hear like bonk.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I'm
We have
like,
to pry out the nails of destiny.
you know what's funny? One of the reasons why I'm so completely sure it's a scythe is because one of the things they were doing is they brought back the Rainmaker hairstyle, right?
Mm.
So, most of the hairstyles we have in Final Fantasy 14 right now are hairstyles from different characters in Final Fantasy. The Rainmaker hairstyle is the hairstyle that Scythe has from Final Fantasy Type 0. Guess what weapon she has?
A scythe?
Yeah, it's a scythe.
Ah, I see.
I was gonna,
My first suspicion was playing through Shadowbringers initially. Ranjit obviously
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
scythe,
No, yeah.
and they have a history of kind of testing things out way ahead of time in that way to like gauge interest or check animations. So people were pretty confident that Vieira was going to be a playable race because they went out of their way to make animations for Fran during Stormblood.
Well, I mean, they had already announced that Vieira was going to be playable race, and then it was like the next patch that came after that Fanfest was, look, it's Fran.
Nah, Fran was a thing before then. She
Oh, was
yeah. I distinctly remember discussing on the in the thread in 4chan people talking about is Vieira gonna be a playable race or not? Is Vieira gonna be a playable race or not? And some guy said, look at the animations for Fran. If they are super in detail and like it's a complete walk cycle and everything's done like that, they're probably gonna make it a playable race because they wouldn't put that much effort into an NPC
Yeah.
who doesn't have a major role in the rest of the story. So people had like intuited it because of Fran, if my memory is correct.
If she has the booty, playable race. If not,
Yes. And she had the booty, and it was correctly predicted.
oh,
That's
boy,
why we're so mad about heckin' female Hrothgar.
why don't
They just bait and switch with
why don't we have the
female
full?
Rohirrim.
It's so weird because I hate fucking Hrothgar. God, I hate him.
I was gonna say, do you
So
think we'll
ugly.
get a? Do you think we'll get a playable
Racist.
race
No,
for
no.
Fanfest?
I
No.
don't think so, but I would really like if they
They've
had
already-
like
they've
Mel
already-
Vieira. I think that'd be really cool.
They've already said like if we do another playable race, it'll probably be sometime down the line because that was a lot of fucking work.
Mhm.
It's
I
like
don't know
there's
why
so
they
many-
did two in the
there's
same
so many-
expansion. I don't know why they
Like-
did that.
Like there's so many like actual like pieces of gear in 14 now, especially now with fucking Shadowbringers being at like damn near the end.
Mhm.
That like if they were to add another race, it'd be so much work time because they'd have to refigure every single piece of gear to actually work for the new races.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean it's an enormous undertaking.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is why I'm surprised they did two at once.
And
I mean,
14 doesn't exactly have like the biggest team.
the other thing
It's
is
weird.
that it's like a benefit downside kind of deal. So if they were going to, even considering all the enormous difficulties that come with creating a new race, if they had enough reason to think that lots and lots of people would play it and really like it, and 30% of people would Fantasia to this new race because it's going to build hype for the new expansion, then they would absolutely make a new race in spite of all the difficulties that developing it entails. But the thing is, you go look at the race data for Hrothgar and Vieira, and the percentage of people who play them, especially Hrothgar, is actually really, really low. So I think that the dev team looks at, okay, we spent all these resources making these new races here that people kept asking for. Like, nobody had asked for Vieira as much as anybody had asked for any playable race in this game. People really wanted Vieira, and yet so small of a percentage of the player base actually played it. So they're probably thinking it's not going to be worth spending all these development resources on a new race that people aren't actually going to play.
I would argue that 50% of the reason that people play VR less is because hats.
Yeah, that's fair.
But of course, that's
Like,
also
they definitely
more
dropped the
worthwhile.
ball to some extent.
Yeah.
I don't wear hats on my character. I like seeing my character's face. If I spent a good 10, 15 minutes working on my character's face, I don't want a hat obscuring that.
I suppose, yeah, hats and hairstyles. I should
Amateur,
actually,
10-15 minutes.
elaborate.
Shut your ass up. The fucking okay, listen, okay, the character creator system for fucking 14 is archaic at best, and there's not much. Alright. There's no sliders here and there to work on the character's nose or the cheekbones or whatever.
Yeah,
if you're playing Black Desert and you spend 15 minutes making your character, you just don't care.
There's a joke slider on
In defense, I am quite happy that I can queue into an instance roulette and be reasonably assured that the Lalafell who will be tanking the boss for me does not have a face that bears a striking resemblance to Barack Obama. Thank you very much.
That's fair.
They've created a system that it doesn't really let people flex their creative, muscles all that well. You don't have a whole shit ton of freedom or anything, but you do get to create a character that probably isn't going to look like most other characters in the game, and you're going to have to work really hard to make it look not good, as long as you're playing one of the races in the game that are actually good, like Lalafell. So
damn.
I have seen over the course of my, the quite literally thousands of Lalafell I've seen, I can probably count on one hand the number of Lalafell I've seen that have been ugly. So, they have that to their credit.
Like Pep.
Male.
Hey!
I like Pep. His
Have
Lala is good looking
Yeah.
when it's not naked.
Oh, well, that's rare.
So like 99% of the time.
I like a lot of this. I think the afro and the glasses and the eyes are cute.
Yeah.
I think he did a good job on his
everything below the neck. No.
Here's my question, though.
You run from it.
Have you ever seen a good-looking male Aura that doesn't have the same face?
Hey man, you talking shit?
I'm saying that
maybe.
people don't utilize the other faces. Like they make good-looking characters, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But that's because the other faces don't look good.
Well,
The
Male
weird old man face that Aura has. No one wants to use that.
Yeah, nobody uses the weird old man face. I don't know. I'm not really a male Ra connoisseur. I have seen Femra who look good with all the different races. So
That's very true. Yes.
Femra with big lips are great.
Croissants.
Don't get quiet now.
Basically, it's essentially impossible to go bad with Lalafell. It's also basically impossible to go bad with Femra, but I argue it is not true for male Ra.
True. That's fair. That's fair.
Male
You
Highlander
can make
would be
some
the
really ugly male Ra.
Yeah.
There was I had a static member when I was doing T. He was a male Ra Dark Knight, and he had an RP name for a while, but then showed up one day and his name was different and it wasn't an RP name anymore. And we were like, yo, dude, what happened? Your name changed. And he's like, I was trying to RP at the Quicksands, but nobody wants male Ra, so I'm not even going to have the RP name anymore. And I was thinking to myself, this totally contradicts everything I've heard about people with
Yeah.
male Ra generally. And then I looked at his character and I thought, oh, I understand everything. It's not that it's not that people don't like male Ra. It's that this guy's male Ra was just the ugliest male Ra I'd ever seen in my life.
That's tough. That's tough.
But
So what are your main wants and desires for the new expansion?
So
can I go first?
Sure, yeah, go
Actually,
ahead.
no, never mind.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, who should go first?
I'll go if you want.
Okay, you go.
Fight to the death.
Sure. So, big things that I would really love, but despite the fact that I don't know that they're actually likely, I would love an overhaul to the glamour system. I think that glamour plates are kind of archaic, and I think that having a system that allows for players to have easier access to their glamours more quickly, or having a thing where you can have I don't know, like a big catalog of all the different gear, right? And then you can just use the ones that you want without having to go into an inn, and I feel like there's just much better ways to do it, right? So that's something that I would really enjoy. Another thing is I really want them to ensure that no matter what happens, that ultimates are still fun in the next expansion at level 70. Like, whether that means they have to start working on a system where you can keep your abilities but you're at a lower level, I think that's a really good idea. But I'm very worried that ultimates are going to just feel terrible in the next level 70 ultimates specifically are going to feel awful in the next expansion.
Yeah, because they will be getting some classes with skills and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the balance of them as it is already not amazing. Like some jobs
do extremely better than others.
Yeah, there are lots of cases where it's not that there are any jobs in Ultimates that are unplayable or that are quote-unquote bad, but they are so skewed in certain ways.
Yeah.
Like, I could play Gunbreaker in a level 70 Ultimate right now and do mondo damage, like beating DPS levels of damage if I crit.
Yeah.
Depending on the group and depending on what DPS. Or I could play Paladin, and it's like, okay, I'm guaranteed to not do any damage at all. I'm going to be doing so little because you're missing so many parts of your kit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Paladin has both of its party-wide mitigations at level 70, and Dark Knight doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Besides, reprisal, but everybody has reprisal.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't make Paladin unplayable, and it doesn't make Dark Knight unplayable, but it does make them really super lopsided in a way that is kind of frustrating. Like, I don't want to go into an Ultimate Pug and see a Dark Knight in there, because it's like, ugh, and that's not kind of an environment that you want to be in, where you're hoping that you're not going to see a specific job when you join a party or stay static.
Hashtag Gunbreaker.
The two classes I've chosen for Ultimates have like literally no changes in the rotation from level 80 to 70, so that's kind of my own problem, or my own fault for not switching it up.
That's your own smart decision.
Yeah.
That too,
picking,
yeah.
You made a good decision. You played a job that was fun at level 70 as well as at level 80. Some of them, it's like, man, White Mage is missing so much at level 70.
Yeah, Listen, I enjoy White Mage.
Summoner's awful, but he'll play it because he never plays anything but
I
Summoner.
can't build fucking Blood Gauge at level 70.
Really? Is that a problem?
Yeah.
What do you?
Then I can't do some of my extra motherfucking
Are you missing a trait or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that you got a trait that increased your blood gauge gain in the 70 range.
It's fucking stupid. I hate it.
Yeah. So my hope, I'm with you, Comey, is that my hope is they have gotten enough practice or figured out a way of consistently rebalancing old fights to work with current skill sets and stats based on their practice with the Unreal fights. Because they've rebalanced 3 Unreal fights, and they've all turned out, in my opinion, pretty good. So maybe they will have learned something from that, or maybe they went in and tooled around with, like, they had a system set of, or not, in MO of some sort for this is how we're going to generally be doing this, and maybe they learn that and apply it to Ultimate fights, and that way You know, because it would be awesome if you could do every ultimate at the, you know,
Oh,
with
that'd be great.
all your tools. That'd be so much more fun.
Yeah. And like if it was like
And they have to
gear
deal with
synced up,
the.
that'd be cool too.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the gear sync is really. The gear and the food is too good right
Yeah.
now in the old ultimates.
Mhm.
It doesn't accurately represent the challenge that they were on the original release. I'm sure I never did the level 70 ultimates when they were current, but I'm pretty confident that when UCOB came out, you couldn't have 7 deaths during nail phase.
Yeah, and not
still
skip
meet
dive
the
bombs.
check for nail phase. Yeah, which is what happened on my clear for UCOB was we had 7 deaths during nail phase and we recovered and we cleared on that pull.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I worry about that a little bit.
Like
So
I
they need to
enjoy
balance
the recovery and stuff like that, but I do think that the DPS checks should probably be a little more punishing in ultimate content, you know? Like where else are the DPS checks gonna be punishing if not ultimate?
that. Well, I guess to be fair, Ultimate has always been more about mechanics than about DPS. Like T, I did do T on content, and the only DPS check in T that was hard was the last phase. Everything else was pretty simple. So
It is precision DPS, making sure you do a certain amount at a certain time, but you do have to
True.
hold back quite a bit.
true. Sometimes you have to hold to line up cooldowns and stuff.
I did. Speaking of different abilities you have for different jobs at level 70, I just realized that Black Mage is like unplayable at 70 because they don't have aspect mastery.
That's how it was in Stormblood though. It's not unplayable. It's just how it was.
You know what? You might be right, but it's unplayable to me. So
It's a little gross, but it's how it was.
We
Imagine hitting on a job that didn't have a skill before the most recent expansion.
My first UCOB group, we had a summoner, that was his main, and when we were doing re-clears, he played Black Mage, and we did one pull, and he was like, yo, I'm top 100. And the reason he was top 100 on Black Mage is because there were fewer than 100 Black Mages who had cleared UCOB during Shadow because people just didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
So, and this was in the middle of Eden's verse, so like there had been time for people to go back and re-clear all those old fights, and there still had been fewer than 100 Black Mages who'd done it.
And that was actually my machinist friend in Ulu, which was also really surprising to me.
That one's kind of surprising to me too, because Machinist doesn't feel like it's missing too terribly much at level 70, to me at least.
Yeah, it was just either the low amount of players, or maybe he showed a Brynhilder stat or something. I don't remember exactly. Because I think that was after we had cleared too. I don't remember.
Me personally, I hope First and Dark Knight changes.
What do you want changed about Dark Knight?
Fucking Living Dead.
Perhaps
Don't
they.
Thing I wanted to never change about Dark Knight because I
don't
never played
make
Dark
it-
Knight.
Don't make it to where I just straight up fucking die. Alright?
I mean, it is kind
That's
of
like-
funny.
That's like the yeah, sure, it's funny for you because you let me fucking die all last year, you piece of shit. You know? Fucking just give me let there be some kind of detrimental effect if you want that to be the thing, right?
Sure.
If you want
No.
like
Make it more.
if you want to keep Dark Knight's fucking like identity as a job, go ahead, have some kind of detrimental effect, whatever. I don't care. Bring silence back for Dark Knight whenever they use whenever they use Living Dead. But don't make it where if something bad happened and I'm trying to save the mechanic and so I sacrifice myself by using Living Dead or something like that. Don't punish me
Uh-huh.
for doing the mechanic correctly or saving a mechanic or something like that because my healers couldn't get the correct heals off, or we didn't have a white mage that had Benny, or just they didn't or another job didn't like have all their stuff lined up to immediately get rid of Living Dead. Like don't because no other job has a detriment like that. Like sure, Gunbreaker pops itself in the fucking head, it's at 1 HP. But guess what? They have invuln. They don't take any damage after that.
I mean, it's effectively a home game.
Yeah, like Warrior can heal themselves. No one cares. So can Paladin. But Paladin has fucking hollowed ground. They press the button, no damage. The thing with Dark Knight is that I press the button, I'm still taking damage, but like I just won't die. and that's like the worst. That's like the worst part about it.
I think that if they're gonna make it have such a detrimental effect, the least they can do is make it like the shortest cooldown, you know?
Sure.
But they don't even get that.
No,
That's
you
very
don't.
It has a fairly short cooldown. I mean, it's not as short as Home Gang, but
it's
shorter
fairly
than
short.
the other two.
I think it should be shorter than Home Gang if they're gonna make it do that to you.
I feel like it
It
should.
is-
I feel like it shouldn't be so detrimental.
It is true
Well-
that in situations of a balance, you have something that is the best in some areas and the worst in others. But it is true that Living Dead is the worst in all areas.
Not true, because it has a 10-second invuln time and not an 8-second invuln time.
Yeah,
So
you can-
that does
like,
mean you can use
yeah.
it. A 10-second invuln time with being able to be used far more often than Hallowed Ground is. And that is really nice in certain areas.
That's true.
The other thing is that I think that the healing problem, like you use Living Dead and the healers don't adjust, and therefore you don't get topped off, and therefore you die, and you get punished way harder than the other ones, the other tank invulns do, it's a problem at certain levels. Like in an X trial, it's pretty likely that's going to happen. But if you are in a static and you're progging and your team is good and your healers communicate with each other, it's not hard to top a Dark Knight off even without a massive button like that. Because chances are the White Mage is sitting on lilies. You know, very, very likely. You almost always have lilies. And chances are the Astro has a charge of ED because, you know, at least it seems to me like Astros in my groups always are sitting on an extra charge of ED.
Yeah.
And the Scholar might have energy drains or something like that. But between both healers, if they're both on top of their game, the Dark Knight's not going to die to Living Dead. So there is still the aspect that you're being punished because your team didn't adjust to you. Like, if you have a good team, your team will be able to adjust to you. And being punished because your team didn't adjust is, for me, part and parcel of playing a game that is fundamentally a team-based game.
Yeah, I understand that it's like I understand like it's like all of it's like it's a team-based game, right? But it's like the other jobs don't really have to like depend too much on the other like your team when it comes to like their invulns.
I would disagree to an extent to both of those. I'm going to kind of piggyback and say that I like in a controlled substance, a controlled area or circumstance, when Dark Knight is invuln is used kind of as it's intended, it gives a cool extra mechanic to it, which I enjoy. Though I understand what you're saying when in uncontrolled circumstances where you're trying to save a bullet or whatever not, that becomes more of a nuisance than a fun mechanic. But I would argue that Gunbreaker and Warrior have that same detriment. It's just a little bit more harsher for the Dark Knight in that they'll die. So in the same way that if a Warrior or a Gunbreaker doesn't get healed, they will also die, just to autos rather than the debuff itself.
No, yeah, but I mean, Warrior still has like Equilibrium and Thrill Battle and all their other healing
Their
skills.
healing, so that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
Especially in the realm of Gunbreaker, where they do go down to 1 HP.
If that's and if that's the case, then give me some kind of better self-sustain because I have none.
That I can agree with.
Sure,
The-
Blackest Night. Yeah, it's the best shield. No, it's not. It's not self-sustained. Abyssal Drain. That I get to use that once every 60 seconds.
I mean, TBN is really nice, but yeah, for the job that's supposed to be like the blood drain class, you
Yeah.
would
Mhm.
expect it to have more
The better-
self-sustain.
I do
than
think it should have
actually
more
does.
self-sustain.
The more damage I do, the more healing I should get back. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Oh, you get healing off a Soul Eater. That's like once every.
It's a long
I don't
cooldown.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
What if
And-
they changed one of the abilities to? It's a mitigation, but in addition to it reducing damage you take, it also heals you.
That's what Bloodbath should have been. I mean, not Bloodbath. Blood Weapon.
So I'm thinking of like a vengeance, except it heals you instead of does more damage to the boss.
Blood Weapon. Yeah, Blood Weapon should not only give me my health back, but as it do damage, but also give me my blood gauge. But that we don't have that.
I also agree with that. Yeah.
this is kind of a complicated thing to work around from a design perspective, because we can't really just look at Dark Knight and say these are the problems with Dark Knight, we're going to change them. You have to think about its relationship to the other tanks and to having them be unique as well, because
you mean how all the other tanks like pretty much outdo me and everything else?
Well, what I mean is that if we look at Warriors self-sustain and say, oh, Dark Knight should have Warriors self-sustain, and we give Dark Knight Warriors self-sustain and don't do something else to make sure that Warrior feels like a different job than Dark Knight, then that's going to homogenize the jobs over time, and they're not going to feel very different from each other.
That's
like,
also another thing. Dark Knight should also have a better actual idea of what the job should be, rather than like I pop Equilibrium, right, and I do Bloodspell repeatedly, right? Guess what? That's also what Warrior does.
Yeah.
They pop Berserk and then you proceed to do you do Fell Cleaver or whatever the new skill is called repeatedly, and then they also build up their gauge over time, and proceed to do the exact same thing.
I would agree with you, Aoife, but yeah, I do believe that the tanks, in essence, aren't really unique enough.
Right. Like, I'm not saying that what we have right now is good, but that's just one of the things that we should be appreciative of to some extent when it comes to designing the tanks, is that not only are they trying to make 4 tanks that feel different from each other, 4 tanks that are balanced, but also they're trying to make 4 tanks that feel differently from each other.
Yeah.
And we could have, sometimes there's probably a trade-off that goes in with that, is you can have the jobs be more unique, but then, maybe they're not going to be as balanced. Or you could homogenize them until the water runs dry, and you're going to have a perfectly balanced set of tanks, but they're not going to feel very special.
Yeah, it's one thing I can never fault this game for is at endgame content, this game is incredibly well balanced.
That's also another thing I would also really like for the tanks to all feel very directly unique to each other, in an actual like fighting sense, because like Paladin has two different actual like combos, right? Warrior also has 2 different combos, but Paladin and Warrior play so completely different that there's damn near no similarities between them.
Well,
and Gunbreaker has his 1, 2, 3, right? But then you have continuation, and that proceeds to just change its entire rotation for their burst phase or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And Dark Knight is literally just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. There's no change. 1, 2, 3.
Then you use your cooldowns.
Okay, time to do Delirium and use your cooldowns in between, right? And then you're back to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
He's got a point. Dark Knight's to me. I don't like Dark Knight.
I mean, it's probably my least favorite tank. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, Gunbreaker at least has a rotation that feels kind of like you're doing something that resembles a DPS rotation.
Yeah, it's like a mini DPS rotation.
Yeah.
When I was leveling Warrior, I leveled Paladin first, and then I leveled Warrior, and I got Fellcleave, and I was learning how to use that. I was like, this feels an awful lot like a melee Holy Spirit. And that a lot of the jobs, I had the impression that Dark Knight was kind of similar in that Dark Knight I didn't like enough to actually learn how to play the rotation properly, but from what people had been saying, it's like, oh, it's, it feels like a worse Warrior in that you push this button and now, boom, big hit, boom, big hit, boom, big hit. It just has Dark Knight version of Fellcleave.
Yeah.
Was what people said.
Even the damage out is just an OGCD, so that's less manageable.
The rotation, the rotation for the most part resembles Warrior's rotation, but except for the fact that Warrior will see to have its other combos that he goes off on doing other things. While after your opening rotation for a good solid minute until the rest of your other cooldowns come back, it's just 1, 2, 3. Then that's more or less what it is.
I think they need to move away from the design philosophy of having every tank have an attack button that they spam many times in the damage phase of their rotation. Like Paladin is Atonement. You spam Atonement 3 times in the middle of your thing. You spam Holy Spirit 5 times in that's part of your magic phase. Or I guess in your magic phase. You have Fell Cleave that you spam like I think 5 times in your in a release phase. You've got Blood Spiller that you spam 5 times in your Delirium phase. You know, Gunbreaker's the only one that's not that, and I think that they need to differentiate them in a way that they break that pattern.
I would also love to see more abilities costing MP for Dark Knight, as it is like, to me, I view it as the magic tank. I mean, obviously, Paladin fulfills that role too. But just looking at the hotbar, there's 3 abilities that use MP.
Yeah, and like that's the thing.
They all use the same amount.
Yeah.
I mean, and like that was the thing they were trying to move away from like Heaven's Sword to Stormblood to what we are now, because like there were a lot of skills that used MP. In fact, we even had some CDs besides the Blackest Night that we got in Stormblood that also used MP. And when it came to Dark Arts, like your Dark Arts would use a shit ton of MP, but then you would also use it for maybe 1 or 2 of your cooldowns that also used MP. So by the time you're done using that for a tank bust or whatever, you look over and you don't have anything else for you don't have anything. Like you have no MP for like DPSing. And like that was one of the reasons why it was so punishing to die as a Dark Knight back in Heaven's Sword, because not only do you not have any not only do you have no TP, but also your tank stance needs to be brought back up. Guess what? It takes fucking MP. You also need to try to reestablish aggro. Yeah. Tank stance. Tank stance use your MP back in the day, because you would have Dark Side up, and you would have your tank stance up at the same time to make sure you actually had your DPS up, because it was back when Heaven's Sword was back when tank stance actually had a detriment to your DPS.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Give me my dot back. Give me Scourge back.
It would be a neat thing to add back to Dark Knight to give it a little bit more management, to some MP management.
I think in general, there needs to be more MP management in this game, because the only jobs at all it feels like that MP matters for are the healers.
Yeah.
And even then, unless you're on like the cutting edge of adjusting for people, you're not going to run out of MP unless you either you have a 600 piety set and your whole rotation is spreadsheeted and you can't raise anybody at all.
Yeah.
Or you have enough MP and things don't go wrong, and your MP management is you hit lucid dreaming every minute. There should be more. Just in general, jobs need to be thinking about MP more. I really would like if they just nerfed MP generation across the board for healers and gave casters mana shift back, because that would be making it feel like the casters are bringing something to the raid besides just Addle and a DPS cooldown. It's like, oh, they can mana shift the healers if the healers are low on MP, and it adds that extra little bit of incentive for someone as a DPS to be having raid awareness about how their team is doing.
Yeah, I'd love to see mana shift come back.
Yeah.
Part of me misses refresh.
Yeah, same kind of deal.
And then, of course, when they give it back to us in Delibram, I hate it. So, it's a little bit
fair.
Never bring cleric stance.
Which one is refresh?
Refresh ups the MP regen for the whole party.
Oh.
So which is, in the essence of Fizz ranged, is useful for everybody but Fizz ranged.
Yeah. Classic Fizz ranged mechanic.
Right? You know about
never bring
you know about the Delibram, right?
The what?
So in Delibram you have the deep essences, which you get from doing Delibram or spending clusters, whatever.
Ah, Jesus.
With Delibram, each of your deep essences has a compatibility with one of the lost actions.
Yeah.
So for melee, whatever, you can use the ability that gives you more damage without the risk of losing HP like it usually has. And in the case of Bard or Fizz ranged, the Deep Essence has a compatibility with, I believe it's Cure 2, which gives refresh for the rest of the party. So like, it just kind of feels like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Where you don't get to do more damage, you get to be assisting the rest of the party, which is also only useful in communicative experiences, because the bard doesn't know unless you communicate when to use that. So
Yeah.
that's one of my biggest issues with refresh in general.
All right, Comey, what else you got?
What else do I got for things I want?
Yeah.
Let's see. I anticipate that healers are going to get major changes. If not,
Well,
I would be very surprised if healers did not receive big changes across the board. Because
Well, I mean, they already said they would, right?
well,
'Cause
they
now you're
said
gonna
they
have-
were
now you're gonna have
splitting
two
the
regions
healers
two
into.
barriers.
I mean, yes, the inclusion of a new healer is a big change for healers, of course. But I mean, like gameplay design philosophy changes for healers.
Where you're spamming one DPS button.
I feel like I think that was sort of the biggest complaint across the board with healers and Shadowbringers was people are tired of the one button spam, and and I think that we might see a more complex DPS mechanics for healers in Endwalker. Whether that I'm fine with how White Mage is now, where they have healing that builds up into damage, right? I would be fine if White Mage stayed the way it is, but I would like to see them do a similar thing with the other healers, where
What if they had?
there is more
they-
options for DPS that comes directly from your healing. I don't know. Could be interesting.
So the thing about healers is that they've had trouble balancing them in the past. They've admitted even they have had trouble balancing them in the past. But you don't want them to feel homogenous, like they're all the same.
Mhm.
And I agree with you. I think White Mage, or the other thing to keep in mind is that you want them to feel different, but you don't want any of them to be so complicated that it compromises a healer's ability to have high rate awareness.
Mhm.
Like, the reason I do calls in my group, or a part of the reason that I do calls in my group, is because not having a complicated DPS rotation like a monk would have or something like that means that I can spend more of my energy on watching health bars, on watching mechanics, on paying attention to when cooldowns are coming up, that sort of stuff. And if it gets too complicated, then that's going to compromise the average person's ability to manage all those things at the same time. So you want them to be, you want it to be balanced, you want it to be unique, and you want it to not be so overwhelming that it reduces healer rate awareness too much. So White Mage right now, I think, is actually in a pretty good spot. Like, I agree with you.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
is, like, maybe, a little bit more. I would like Arrow 3 back personally.
Yeah.
But, there's enough uniqueness built into being a turret and the movement management and the OGCD management, the weave management, that White Mage is fun to play right now. And Astro, I think, although it's never going to be as fun as Stormblood Astro was, it has APM. It feels sufficiently different to play from White Mage in that you can pretty much you have more OGCDs, but you can OGCD wherever you want in the middle of your rotation because your filler spell is not that complicated. It's just, or not that it's not that complicated, that it's only half of the GCD.
Yeah.
So, and you have cards, and at the higher level, there is a decent amount of thinking that goes into card management because it's not just draw a card, play card on DPS that is the right DPS for it. You want to be thinking about, okay, when's this burst coming up? I'm going to hold this card for 25 seconds so that it overlaps with div. So Astro, I think, is also at an okay spot. They would have to change some of the healing stuff to make Diurnal Astro feel like it is a job in its own right and not just a half of Astro as a whole. But Astro, they could get away with not changing too many things about it. Scholar needs to feel different.
Yeah.
Because Scholar right now is just White Mage with shields and less, and you get a get out of jail free card for your weaves and for your movement.
What
which
I think
totally trivializes the point of that even existing.
What I think is the fundamental problem with sorry to cut you off. You still going?
Well, I was just going to suggest that maybe they should go back to the dot management identity that Scholar used to have, where I'm not saying they should have 5 different dots, but 3 or 4 dots maybe with a nerfed filler spell, and each of the dots has a different cooldown timer, and you have to be watching out for when they get refreshed or something like that. And people will come and say, well, that's going to cause balance issues with multi-target fights, but you can solve that pretty easily by just giving the dot a cooldown that matches the amount of time it takes the dot to tick down. Like, have, I don't know, Biolysis 7 or whatever, and it ticks for 45 seconds, but also it is on a 45-second cooldown, so you can't put it on more than one target. Something like that.
Yeah.
I like the dot aspect of Scholar, so they could do that. And then they have to bring Sage in, and they have to come up with something totally new to make Sage feel unique.
I agree that I think dots would be a really interesting way to make Scholar more unique, and would also tie it in more closely with Summoner. I feel like fundamentally one of the biggest issues with Scholar right now is that it's supposed to be the shield healer, and yet all of its shields are on the GCD, which is not something that you want when you're doing endgame content.
No, you crazy. Shut up.
Like, it's like, oh yes, we bring our Scholar for the mitigation. And then it's like, well, your Scholar, outside of like Sacred Soil and Illumination, I guess, like, if you want shields, like, your Scholar has to drop a DCD for that. And Astro, which is sort of, I guess, supposed to be like a flex healer, like, it's like, oh yeah, we have like 6 different options for OGCD, damage mitt, and shields.
Well, they have, in terms of just shields, they have Celestial Opposition if they're in the Nocturnal Sect. And they have the single target shield in
Intersection
if they're in Diurnal Sect. And they have that's it, I think, for all the pure shields that are on the GCD. I might be forgetting some, but the other ones are mainly like Collective Unconscious is like Soil in that it's not a shield, but it has mitigation on it if you're in the right effect for it. And the like Horoscope that doesn't have any shields attached to it. Neutral Sect gives you access to both sects, which means that if you want shields through Neutral Sect, you're going to have to GCD heal. So it's not really that one of the healers, I think, has all the shields and the other one doesn't, but it's definitely like Scholar. It's not enough to make Scholar feel unique, the amount of shields and mitigation that it does have right now. Like, Soil is really good, but I mean, I like CO more, or CU more.
Plus, people preferring Astro for its DPS gains anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, speed kill, you probably go Scholar Astro. I think most groups go Scholar Astro for speed kills, but that's just because of Chain. And I mean, Chain's kind of a problem on its own in that it's good, but it's not really that engaging to use. It's just a button you push every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Is White Mage not ahead of Scholar in terms of the total RDPS?
The last time I looked, I think the top 10 speed kills for most fights were mainly Scholars and Astros, but that there were a couple White Mages in there. So, but that's also in a hyper optimized speed kill environment where you have lots of raid buffs, probably. So, make of that what you will.
I think a dedicated group with a White Mage could do just as fine. With multiple kills, you find some good crits or whatever.
I think a skilled conjurer could probably out DPS them all.
I have played with Scholars. I'm sure I could beat on my conjurer if I wanted to. But
what about you, Brass? What are your hopes and dreams?
One of the biggest things people say they want for Bard is Bloodletter, an extra one, kind of like how you have 3 a charge. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Extra charge of Bloodletter, so you don't overwrite procs in Mage's Ballad. So that's kind of my one thing is I do enjoy the optimization that does have to come from getting procs from your dot tick, but I wish there was either a way to visualize that dot tick or like figure that out so you can do whatever, or if it was more synced up with your GCD, or if there's some way to control that in a way to make it more optimized for yourself. Because as of now, if I miss like 5 dot ticks in a row, they don't proc anything. I'm kind of clueless as to where my procs are going to come from next. So I constantly overwrite procs all the time. And at high level bard content, you're basically trying to eliminate the number of procs you overwrite. And messing around with Imperial Arrow to do that, or sometimes even switching up and clipping your GCD in order to not miss ticks. So I'm not sure exactly whether I want that to be different or what exactly, but as it is now, that's kind of sad, as well as the other thing, which is high bard parses are, as of today, I'm kind of finding out, at least in the lower end of bard parses, the difference between a good bard damage and a bad bard damage is the amount of repulsion arrow procs you get, which that is just completely random. That's not dot tick or anything. So
That's never fun.
yeah.
You want it to
And,
be primarily, a skill-based kind of deal and not have to worry about just RNG, whether you get procs or not.
I do understand the RNG part of it. Like, you usually get a consistent amount of Apex arrows in a fight. Even though I would like for that to be more consistent too, just because like that's such a big old damage type thing. To have that under Raging Strikes every rotation would be really nice. But yeah. So the RNG parts I'm slightly upset with, but it does bring a lot of enjoyment and extra mechanics to the job, though I don't think that's well utilized. Otherwise, I don't really have many extra hopes for Endwalker, just because I have a really bad imagination. So I'm not exactly sure what they could bring to the table, except for the stuff that I am currently discontent with. So,
Okay. So, what besides job? I'm a job wish list. Do you what else do you guys want to see?
I want 3 ultimate raids.
3 ultimates!
Period. Number 1, that's the top of my list. I want 3 ultimate raids.
Yeah, that'd be
They
great.
have the schedule already set up so that they could have 3 ultimate raids the expansion and it wouldn't be weird or anything. Because, 0.0 Savage, 0.1 Ultimate, 0.3 Savage, 0.2 Savage, 0.3 Ultimate, 0.4 Savage, 0.5 Ultimate.
Mhm.
Because we've gotten ultimate raids on the 0.1 patch in 2 expansions, and we got it in the 0.3 patch in Stormblood, and they were planning it for the 0.5 patch in Shadowbringers. So they could fit them all in, and that's what I want them to do. I'm not optimistic based on when stuff gets delayed in tech companies, it just gets delayed, period, and you lose it. So my fear is that we've just lost an ultimate fight. But I really, really want 3 ultimate raids, and that is my biggest wish list of everything for them to possibly do in the game. Besides, don't fuck up White Mage. I'll tell you what my job changes are for White Mage R2. I want them to rename Lucid Dreaming to Shroud of Saints, and I want them to rename I don't know, what are the other? I want them to rename Fluid Aura to something that's White Magey.
I want them to
And
make
that's
Fluid Aura do something. Okay, here's my thing with Fluid Aura. Either make it so binds are a thing in raids, make Fluid Aura do something else, or take it out of the game. Pick one of those. In its current state, it is just, it's a waste of a skill.
See, I don't want them to delete it, though, because my bars already look symmetrical. And if they take a button away, it's not going to look symmetrical anymore.
I mean, realistically speaking, they'll probably take at least, 3 or 4 buttons away going into next expansion, at least?
Or change them.
Yeah, I mean, they might get rid of... I could see them getting rid of Fluid Aura. They should just get rid of... Well, I don't want to say they should get rid of Repose either. I don't know. White Mage has relatively fewer skills than some jobs do, so...
Yeah, that's true. They could just add on.
I would prefer that.
I don't
Either
feel
way,
like
three
there's a
ultimate
lot
rings.
of. I don't feel like there's a lot of things you can easily remove from White Mage in its current iteration. I guess you could take away Plenary and replace it with something that also provides extra healing, or get rid of Denizen. I don't know, but
No, please.
but I like those
Try so many
abilities.
times
So
back to my dude. Ah,
You can tell an experienced white mage versus a total novice based on how many casts of Divine Benison they do over the course of the fight.
yeah. No, I mean it's a great skill. I could see them looking to that one as one that is the first to get cut. I don't know.
yeah, it is quite a small shield,
Uh-huh.
though it is life saving sometimes.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
adds up over over a fight on the single target. It makes up a pretty decent amount.
But from a casual standpoint, I can see them doing something more or less with it.
They shouldn't balance the game around casuals. That's here. I got my
Hot take.
my hot take is that no matter what you do to the game, casuals are never going to play it right. They're never going to play it optimally.
Yeah.
No matter how easy you make the jobs, there is always going to be a white mage who just sits there and, refreshes Dia 20 times in a single, whatever.
Yeah.
And doesn't know how to roll a GCD
Right.
and, does all this shit. And there's always going to be samurais who don't know that they have positionals. And there's always going to be tanks who can't hold aggro even though the tank stance nerf happened. And don't know how to position a boss because of whatever. Like, people are gonna be bad at the game, and simplifying the jobs is not gonna make those people better at the game. They are willfully bad, or they are stupid, and therefore there's no helping them. So stop punishing people who are good at the game, who care a lot about how fun the job is to play, who get really, really rewarded for putting in more effort into playing their job. Stop punishing those people because trying to fix a problem that's never going to be fixed anyway.
No.
That's what I want for Endwalker is an overhaul to Hall of the Novice.
I want them to remove bad players in Endwalker. That's probably my biggest change.
Damn. If only.
Nice.
If only.
Like because the game has changed so much, to teach players through something like Hall of Novice or something like that, either give rewards or make it more accessible to players or whatever.
It certainly
Plus,
needs an
obviously,
update.
Teach things like slide casting or
They're never going to teach
like-
slide casting.
positioning or
They should, though.
maybe something specific to each class to like go in more in depth to discuss skills and whatnot, that kind of stuff. That could be pretty interesting for Endwalker.
They should. Here's the pedagogy of this game has a serious problem in that way, and Hall of the Novice is one way to fix it. But the thing that would be even better that people forget about because it hasn't been a thing is that they should bring the old tanking system back, at least to an extent, and they should increase the amount of aggro that healing generates to an extent.
Way more
Because
punishment.
yes, because when I first started playing this game, I deliberately went out of my way to avoid overhealing and DPS instead, because if you heal too much, you would rip aggro off the tank.
Yeah.
So that is an incentive right there. There's only so many times that a healer is gonna refresh Medica 2 over and over and over again, and then be killed to auto attacks because they rip off the tank, before they learn that they maybe shouldn't only hit their heal skills over and over and over again. That's a really elegant solution, and they should look into it, and they should come up with some way that happens, but also I could still solo heal a fight if I wanted to without ripping aggro off the tank. I don't know. Something like that.
That's awfully
They should
convenient.
You're thinking a way to like punish healing to incentivize more or less healing, I should say.
Yeah, they should come up with a way to incentivize less healing. And that is the way that incentivized me to heal less when I first started playing the game, is that I was worried I would rip aggro off of tanks, because if I healed, I generated aggro. Now you don't have to worry about it because tank stance is too good.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Rolling back.
you still find the tanks every once in a while. They're like losing aggro, and it's like, how?
Yeah, that's one of those
every
people
button
who
you
can't
press
be helped.
now.
That-
Every button you
Discuss.
press now is just building aggro. How are you doing this?
If you're losing
This
aggro
was
to
serious.
DPS, like there's there's something going very wrong.
Yeah.
Bro, I discuss this all the time. I am constantly ripping aggro from all Dark Knights. I don't know what it is. In every dungeon content, I have a Dark Knight. I rip aggro from them, or at least like 2 times out of 3, I rip aggro.
It's very strange.
And it's only Dark Knights. I don't know what it is, and I also have problems as a Dark Knight keeping aggro. And Zero says he has no problem. Other Dark Knight mains say they have no problem. So there's either something I'm doing wrong, or Dark Knight just has aggro problems. But
I mean, is
it's
it
a
like
big
you're not?
problem
You
for
might
me.
be that you're not hitting things with your AOE. I mean, if you're hitting things, you should be like
no,
like.
I'm definitely hitting them. Like the aggro goes to me, and then I lose it.
I don't know,
I just
man.
hate Dark Knights.
In dungeons, it could be me taking aggro because the tank's not hitting them. That is possible.
Yeah.
You might just want to do what we do in the FGC and get good.
Get good.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
It's probably your best option. Just get,
Yeah, and the
get
best
just get
option
good.
just get good. Just
Yeah.
get
This is
just
why
get
I'm
good,
trying
kid.
really hard on Bard, my dude.
Just get good, kid. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
Could I switch to machinist? Could I switch to dancer? Absolutely.
I believe you mean machinist.
Why do I stay on
Machinist.
Bard?
I'm
I have
serious.
no idea.
Machinist.
Machinist.
I will fight everyone to the day I die. I will continue to say machinist until the day I die.
That wasn't a joke?
No, I'm not joking. I say
Oh
machinist.
no.
We're gonna make your wish
So
come true,
serious?
Darius.
I can't take that seriously because you're the.
I gotta add to my
you're
wish
the-
list.
Oh, it's
ban
Tidus,
Zarius from
not
this
Tidus,
game.
Also, machinist.
Naruto. We're just arguing about these
Ugh.
things, and you say, "Oh, my way is right," and then say Naruto's wrong. This is your own personal
Because there are
bias.
things. Okay, there are things that are objectively wrong, and then there are things that are just my opinion wrong.
It's just
Yeah, and
Absolutely
that's such a
Naruto.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
Naruto. Okay,
Disgusting.
Naruto is objectively wrong.
So
Machinist.
was Machinist.
Okay, machinist. Okay, you have
It's
different
a
ways
real
of saying
word
machinist.
in the
Hang on.
English
No, hang on,
language,
hang
and
on a
it's
second.
always pronounced machinist.
But
Hang on a second.
you,
Zarius,
yes. What do you want?
Naruto is not objectively wrong. Because
That is
the way
objectively
hang
fucking
on.
wrong.
No. The way Americans pronounce
God.
words, they stress the second syllable in a 3-syllable word.
I'm gonna stress my foot up your ass.
I guess the one that is different would be syllable. But like I can't even think of any 3-syllable words off the top of my head. But that is
What?
a
Brass!
difference.
Because you're illiterate.
You speak this
fucking
language.
bitch.
Try again.
That is
A
the
3-syllable
difference
word.
between-
Come on, you can do it.
I said syllable doesn't work because it
Brett.
stresses the first syllable. You dingus.
Brass. What is flat? Okay, Brass. I want you to say. I want you to enter this.
You were going
What
to say
is-
platinum, weren't you? Yeah.
No, there's that. Okay, but what is your surname for your username on most everything?
Flamingo.
Yeah, look at that. 3 syllables.
Thank you. All right. Fine. Whatever. Either way, that is very common for English speakers to stress the second syllable, whereas in Japanese they stress the first syllable. However, they do it very subtly, which is why it's misconstrued to the second syllable. When people say Naruto, that sounds very deadpan. So English speakers translate whatever.
I will
What? That is not
actively put people in camp
objectively.
for saying
Naruto.
Naruto.
No, I think Zarius is right.
It is not objectively.
I didn't
Naruto. It is
listen,
I
not
will-
so I think
I
Zarius
will-
is
Market.
right.
I will.
Actually, Naruto is the little sister of hit character Ruto from Zelda Ocarina of Time. Thank you very much. That's
You
why
are
people
correct.
say Naruto.
You are correct, Zeus.
That's
and I
like-
would like to
that-
strangle people that say Naruto.
That's like saying like, oh, you know, because English language is the way it is. When people say tiki, you don't have to say tiki. You can say tiki. No, but
That's
no,
a
but
funny
they
way to
no,
say
but they
that.
no, but they stress the syllable, Brass.
I'm like, hey,
That's a
girl, come here. You want to tiki?
pronunciation difference.
I'm gonna pronounce my foot up your ass,
They're still
Brass.
saying tiki. They're not saying tiki.
It's
They're still saying tiki. Yeah, that's a pronunciation difference, not
Yeah,
a syllable.
no, it's the
pronunciation
actual way
difference.
it's supposed to be fucking pronounced.
You're arguing the wrong thing here, my dude.
You're the wrong
Ah!
thing.
Oh god, the tension
Hey,
right
you know
now.
what? You know what other skills they should rename?
Yeah.
What's that?
They should give Astro Luminiferous Ether back because that sounds way cooler for Astro than Lucid Dreaming. And Scholar should get Leeches back because
True.
that's I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. Leeches to cleanse debuffs. Ah, that'd be neat.
No, but then how
was
will
was
people know
the
what it is?
implication that they were actually throwing leeches at you?
I mean, the implication from all of Scholar skills is weird stuff like that.
I mean, I
Yeah, ready
guess
for
they
Endwalker
eat their
taking a-
fairies.
Like,
Ready
think
for them-
about deployment tactics. The lore of deployment tactics is that they're literally strategizing where your party members are going to go in the fight.
Huh.
It's a tactic.
Look at the
And
Scholar
they're
can tell
deploying
me
you.
where to go.
Yeah,
Oh, it's the bottom.
to not get hit by stuff.
It's interesting.
Scholar lore is weird.
I like the idea that you're just sitting there chilling and then like, oh no, I feel kind of sick, and just like someone with a book runs in and just slaps a leash in your forehead.
Don't worry, I have the solution.
Welcome to the
Or-
Dark Ages.
Oh,
Or-
please.
or- or
Can I
you're-
have
or
benediction
you're-
from the healer instead? No.
You're at the
leech.
doctor. You're at the doctor's office. You're like, man, I don't know what it is. My stomach is kind of acting weird lately. I don't know what's
Fly up
going
there, fly
on.
up
And then
there.
someone just walks up and just, here you go. Ah! 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 What is this? It's a leech. Just let it do its job. Just let it do its job. Just stay still. Don't move.
Go to the. I think they posted in Second Breakfast Club. Go to the Second Breakfast Club Not Safe for Work channel and
Yeah.
scroll up to the
I
leech
refuse
tweet.
to look at that channel. You're wrong. No.
I love that tweet. Here, I'll copy it and paste it so you don't have to look serious.
I don't go in that channel for
It
reasons.
was from Dulce, so you know how bad it is.
This is a classic. I saw this a couple years ago, I think.
Oh,
and,
really?
Oh man, it was really funny.
Oh my gosh.
It's made the rounds before.
Okay.
Here it is.
What was
I
it?
want that for Scholar.
Bro, just,
I cannot
is
show this on my
Sarah-
streams, so yeah.
Well, why not? It's just a
Safe
leech.
for work?
Isn't
cursed.
it in the not safe for work chat?
It didn't
Well-
belong in there.
Oh.
It's not safe for work. It's just cursed.
Mm,
It's scary.
Definitely scary.
It's just a picture of a leech Comey with a little bow on it. Come on.
They pan to the underside and it's like, ah.
Oh, and 13 character emoji.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, it's almost 7 here, which means if I want to make Fanfest, I probably have to start driving pretty soon. So,
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
We'll see
coming,
you
though.
for FanFest.
Yeah, we're
then,
sitting. Yeah, we're sitting here at about 3 minutes left. So, more than likely, we're gonna be streaming this because I guarantee you, most people in the Breakfast Club will be streaming it.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna stream it.
probably me too.
Comey's probably gonna stream it too. For anyone that's actually willing to check that out, we'll be streaming here at 8 o'clock, watching the Fan Fest. We get our live reactions. I will do
Sounds
my
like a
absolute best. I will do my absolute best not to say anything racist on stream.
You're gonna have to do more than your
anything-
absolute best.
Anything racist
need a
that can
guarantee.
be picked up with Twitch, I will not say. However,
everything up to the point is
Oh,
fair
God.
game.
I will.
Yeah.
I will call the Alamegans as many racist things as I can possibly think
Oh,
of that are
God.
not
Based,
part of
based,
it.
based.
That are not against the TOS.
Tune in
Gem
at 8 for the racist content you've all wanted.
No.
Man, I hate them dirty Alamegans.
Yeah.
Stop.
Endorsed and supported by Comey Valencia by virtue of his being on this podcast.
Also known as Bamblequa on Twitch and other things like YouTube.
True.
Try to spell it.
You
How
can
dare
see
you.
all of his. You can see all of his racist endorsed
Okay,
tweets
alright.
on Twitter
This is
at
not true.
Bamblequa.
This is fake. Fake.
He
Not
says
real.
that, but if you look at his Twitter page right now, the first thing he'll see is, "Man, I hate Alamegans."
Yeah.
No,
can't believe
that's not. You won't see that actually.
it. All right. Well,
Well, they'll only
my
know if they go to twitter.com/Vanderclub.
true. You have to follow him actually to see the tweets.
Yeah, you might have to subscribe to my YouTube channel actually if you want to find out.
Subscribe to his YouTube channel to find all his racism there about the Alamegans and how they are just the laziest piece of shits out
Okay,
there.
alright. You know
I'm
what?
very
It's time
racist,
to-
but you'll never know
time
unless
to
you go to
stop.
patreon.com.
Patreon.com/brassflamingo.
This is where you find the dirt to imprison me forever.
In prison.
If you pay this much money per month, the sub benefit you get is the ability to cancel me. Thank you.
$5 a month.
all of Comey's deep, dark, like, hatred is just on xvideo/Bamble.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
All right.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a wonderful FanFest. Thank you so much for having me a guest. It was really fun.
Yeah.
problem,
Thanks for
man.
coming.
All right. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
All right.
All right, guys.
All
Well,
of the racism. xvideos.com/BambleQuad.
I'm gonna stop the stream here. We'll be back for FanFest
Yo,
in
1
an
hour.
hour.
A whole hour.
Thanks for watching.
A whole
Bye.
hour.